In my opinion, your pets and the animals that you love were probably some of the biggest heroes of our recent pandemic. Stay tuned and I'll explain why. During the COVID pandemic, lots of things happened. And as a therapist, I was asked a couple of times to write letters of support for patients, clients that needed and wanted a emotional support animal. I was happy to do this because in the cases that I dealt with, they involved people that were single, they were isolated, they were totally by themselves, and they needed the love and support, the companionship of an animal. So I was more than happy to write these letters of support, and fortunately these people did get animals and they did thrive as a result of the experience. The pandemic was really hard on all of us in so many ways. I can tell you, as a therapist, I was used to seeing people on site or in person all day long. I didn't do virtual sessions before the pandemic. And then all of a sudden, that's all I did. Was I sat across a screen from somebody and I spoke all day. And when you're talking to somebody on a screen, it's a one-dimensional kind of thing. I couldn't tell the energy in the room. I couldn't tell really what was going on with people initially. It took a lot of time to figure that out. And I have to tell you that when you're sitting across on a screen all day, as many of you do, it can be a little disturbing after a while, especially when the person across from you is in distress, or they're isolated and alone, or they don't know what they're going to do. You feel rather helpless because you can't be in the same room. So, when we talk about the concept of an emotional supportive animal, what we fail to look at sometimes is that our household pets really serve this function without having that distinction given to them. If it weren't for Jeebus, who I call my therapy cat, I don't know how well I would have done all those months talking to people online. He provided me a lot of companionship, a lot of entertainment, but also just a lot of support. He was one of the only consistent forces that I had going on in my life at that time. I could always depend on him. I could always depend on his behaviors being a certain way, his responses to me being a certain way, just as your household pets respond to you. And I think we fail to take into consideration that when a terrible event happens, like a pandemic or an accident or a tragedy of some kind, it's our pets that help us find the security and the stability that we're needing so badly. The thing about these emotional support animals, and the reason that I thought they would be so good for these clients, was that it made these clients focus on something else besides their situation. It made them focus their energy and their attention, and most importantly, their love, into another creature. And as a result, they got love, consistency, stability back. And I'm just saying to you today that that's exactly what happens to all of us with the animals that we love. They give us so much. They give us things in subtle ways that we don't even recognize half the time. So I want to leave you with that today and just tell you that if you are an animal lover like I am, if you are a pet owner like I am, take a little extra time today and give a little more love to your animal, because they have certainly earned it, especially in the last few years. Thank you, and I'll see you at another time.